your content or marketing is kind of like a first date, that if you're only talking about yourself, there's not going to be a second date. And it's a great thing to take with you. It's so important to share, who you are as a business and your values and your brand and, what your offering is. But it shouldn't always be about you. It needs to be about your consumer and, what are their pain points? What is going to get them to pick up the phone and call, or to send that text, or to place that order? Like, what do they need? And focusing on them. Again, this is remove yourself from the driver's seat, be the passenger, and think, okay, how do I feel about this? If you wouldn't buy from yourself based on your socials, then you need to reevaluate.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. I'm your girl, Victoria Odekomaya, and I'm so passionate about helping you grow your brand and influence, and that's why I'm super excited about today's episode. Today, I'm talking to Kaitlyn Carter. She is the owner of Planted Passions Marketing, and she's really excited about helping us grow our businesses through proper use of social media marketing. So today she answers a lot of those burning questions that you have about what to do on social media, how to get those views, how to go viral, how to get clients, and all of that engagement questions that we have. We got you, because today is packed full of great tips and nuggets that you can implement in your business today to start seeing results. So without much ado, let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So, okay, I know there's a lot of questions that people have about social media and how to win and dominate on social media. So I was like, I really need to get an expert here. And you are our expert, right? You do this for a living. But before you get into the questions, just tell the viewers who you are and what you do. Just, give us a little intro.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you again for having me and thinking I'm an expert. I wish. There's just so much to learn. But I'm Kaitlyn Cotter. I'm the owner of Planted Passions Marketing. So I get to help small businesses grow through the proper use of their social media accounts. We really focus in on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, just really through that brand recognition, consistent posting, custom content creation, is all the fun online social side of life.
Yes, yes. And I'm really excited about this conversation because, as I'm a brand photographer, and a lot of times when I have clients, I usually try to ask them questions like, how are you going to use these photos?
Yeah,
Because it's important to me, well, also good for my brand when they're using the photos too, but I really want them to get the most out of their photos, right? And so we tend to talk a lot about social media because that's where people typically like think about when they're thinking about their marketing. So I'm really excited about today, and I have a long list of questions to ask you.
I'm excited.
All right. So, well, I know one of the questions that I get a lot is like, how many times should I post?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And honestly, it's so dependent on each platform, and it's continually changing. And so that's part of where, every morning I'm getting, I can't even tell you how many newsletters in my inbox just to try to stay up to date on, how often should we be posting? What changes are we seeing? How many hashtags should I be using? There's so much going on. So, like Instagram, for example, has recently fully stated that, hey, we want to see people that are posting almost daily. But then you have like the other side of it that, there's like Twitter, that there's kind of a sweet spot that you want to hit of, that like 2 times a day. Otherwise, then we're starting to go in that downcline. Even Instagram stories, they're wanting to see kind of another sweet spot, not too much. It's I'm like, it gets a little chaotic trying to figure out what is best. So the biggest thing that I say is like, whatever you feel confident in being able to put out, and then go off of what's getting engagement. And so,
Mm,
if you are on, say, Facebook, it's very easy to see like, hey, I posted 5 times this week and I got no engagement whatsoever. So then try 7 days that week and then figure out, okay, how did people react this week? Go to 3, kind of test it out, because while there's the algorithms that are on these social media platforms, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's based on your audience and what they're going to engage with, what they're reacting to. So you can try to follow these formulas, but it's ultimately like you gotta understand your audience and how they like to engage with your content.
I really like that you mentioned that audience, because I think that that's really where it really needs to start out, like figuring out who your audience are, where they even hang out too, because like you're saying, there's so many changes in all of this platform, and you don't want to be like spending the time on LinkedIn when majority of your audience are on Facebook. So what do you have to say about the audience?
Yeah, it's definitely a key factor when it comes to your social media, that you need to know the key demographic that you're looking for. It's always great to do that, like cross pollination, get your name out, build your brand. But like you said, if you know that you're trying to target people and we're in that 30-year-old demographic, we want to be on Instagram. If we're posting primarily on LinkedIn, on Facebook, like, yeah, we're going to be getting, some of that, but it's not going to be as good as it could be if we're focusing in on those key target areas. So that is something that I see a lot with businesses of, like, I I have a person that they really need to focus in like more towards LinkedIn. They're doing more of that like B2B type,
Mm,
but yet they're on or Twitter, sorry, but only posting like a couple times a week. So it's not
mm,
really a good way to engage.
right.
Where if we're putting all of that energy that we're spending in Twitter and really focusing in on the LinkedIn, building those connections, getting those relationships built in that platform, they're going to see more success there than to have a little bit in each cup.
I love that. And I know you touched on the next question that I have about algorithm. I know it's like, I don't know how you do it because this is what you do every day, but we hear all the time that the algorithm is changing. I spend a lot of time on YouTube to trying to like keep up, but it's too much. But then it's like there's any a video or content, like something coming out everything every day. It seems like that the algorithm is changing. How can we keep up? Or what is your expert suggestion on what to do with the algorithm to even start with?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing is just trying to stay up to date and have something that you can rely on to get those updates when there is a major change. Um, Even like Google alerts that are, hey, Instagram changes, and okay, I'm getting an email, I know what to expect, can be a complete game changer for your business, because there are so many shifts that, I mean, I every day am online, I'm Googling things, I'm looking up, okay, what should I be doing here? Am I still doing this right? And the things that I read last week aren't working this week. And so it just shifts and changes so frequently that make sure you have that information and you're getting those resources somewhere, or you have someone that could be a reliable source to say, hey, you need to be doing this differently. But another one, pay attention to what other people are doing. If
Mm,
you see that someone is getting really good engagement, they're a very similar business to you, they're offering the same things, they post similar to you, check out what factors are playing in and what is impacting their business that maybe you're not doing, you're not implementing, or maybe you're doing too much. Like hashtags. I see a lot of businesses that just think like okay, I added 30 hashtags, so I've got to get a good reach. But you're hitting that spam level to where it's hurting your content. So you're better off to have like 3 to 5 really strong hashtags than to fill it and like overdo
Wow. Okay. You're like really going. I love the way you're going into my next question because it's going to be about hashtag. How do I determine what hashtag to use?
Yeah, again, this is a fun change that continues to happen. For the longest time, it's been, hey, focus on that 8 to 10 hashtags. And now they're saying you should really be honing in on like 3 to 5. And what you want is to have it not be the same every single time. It's okay to have like your branded hashtag, include that. That's part of your building your brand. If other people are using that, when we're sharing, those nice, beautiful headshots that you just gave us, we can add your hashtag to it.
Mhm.
But then focus in on, okay, what am I specifically looking for in this? Where am I at? What am I doing? And kind of try to like leverage those situations to create those newer hashtags, change it up. Don't just do super generalized all the time. You want to be able to focus in on, this is my specific asset I'm looking for. Here's the area I'm looking for it in. And you're wanting to utilize that so you can kind of target that group that you're wanting to get in front of.
Wow, that's really good. That's good. So also location specific is also good.
Yeah, and so like I like to check into a location if I'm trying to like focus in. So if I'm like, hey, I'm looking for people in downtown Indy, then I can say that's my location. And then in that hashtag, hashtag Indy, hashtag downtown Indy, whatever is more applicable for me. Uh,
Right.
but I really think that the focus of your hashtags need to just like what are your top 3 to 5 when you look at the post, you look at your goal, like hone in on that. So if you're really trying to find, hey, people in this area go, then that should be your hashtag.
That's good. I completely forgot about the location, because on Instagram you can set your location. So
Mhm.
that's a really good one. Thank you for that. So one of my other question is engagement, right? We are all worried about how many likes did we get? Like nobody commented and things like that. What can you say about building a post that will, potentially get good like what are the criteria that we should pay attention to get some engagement?
Right.
I know not everybody's gonna be viral, but
Yeah. So it's again really based on your audience, what your audience is going to like. There's some key things that are going to make a difference. So if it's a very textful post, so your graphic is mostly going to be text, it's probably not going to perform well because we're scrolling. We don't want to stop and read a small novel. Like, show us something that is worth me stopping for. So, get attention with the graphic, with what you're doing, and then really just like the more authentic side of it. So, I've noticed it doesn't matter what business I'm working with, when we are doing actual photos of, the office space or the employees, or like the best are genuine, hey, this is just us doing our thing and how we are every day, not overly posed. Those do so well because people want to know it's not a robot on the other side. It's an actual human. It's somebody who cares about me. It's somebody who understands their business and wants to help me. And it helps that know, like, and trust factor. Plus,
Yes.
people get really excited when they're like, that's my photo, I'm online. So they're going to share it. And then their mom sees it and they're like, oh, that's my child, I'm going to share it. And then it just kind of helps build in that way as well. So, like, the
Good.
more authentic, the more genuine you can be, the better. And really aim for like eye catching posts. The best thing is like put yourself in your potential client shoes and think, would I stop for this post? If you
Yes.
say, no, I would have just kept scrolling, then maybe you need to rethink how we're posting.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I also think that, oh, I've also heard that the hook, so for those captions, right? The hook, like, what do you have to say about that? Because it has to be strong enough for people to say, okay, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, no, that's a huge thing is being able to grab people's attention in that first 1 to 2 seconds. And if you don't have that, again, we're gonna just get people that are continually scrolling. So you really want to focus. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but what your audience is engaging with. I see some people that they can do those giant paragraph captions and their audience loves it because they love that they're genuine and they're expressing what's on their mind and kind of being that more personal, relatable business.
Hmm.
But then, on the next post, the one that's doing really well is, that all caps call to action, lots of emojis, just like, hey, did you hear? And then they launch into it. And, so it's going to look a little bit different. Again, that's where it plays such a vital role of when you post something, make sure you're going back to see how it's performing. If we continue to post things, but we're not actually monitoring them, we can't grow from that. So if you see that there's something that, hey, whenever I start a caption this way and people seem to engage with that, there's going to be something that's in that caption that's really capturing your specific audience.
That's good. So what I hear you say is analyze, analyze, analyze the data.
Yes. Yes.
That is incredible.
It I think it's very like underutilized because you just always hear the algorithm, right? It's well, I read an article that told me that I need to be doing this. I heard from my sister's cousin's friend that I should be doing this. And the biggest thing with it is like, A, anyone can write a blog nowadays.
True.
Doesn't mean that it has to be, actual factual data that's being driven. That could just be based on their personal experience that they're sharing. And then that's being communicated over and over and over. And again, things change so frequently that if you're searching something and the most recent blog was 2 years ago, that's outdated information.
Right. That's really good. So take advantage of those analytical data that Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you have. Make sure you take advantage of that before we're trying to chase the next algorithm, thing there. Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
good. All right. So you were talking a little bit about engaging, being genuine, the posts and things like that. That helped me think about telling a story.
Hmm.
Like I feel like, I mean, I've heard a lot of this also from brand experts and things like that. Like you want to tell a story because it's engaging. What are your thoughts about that?
I love that. Like, I think it's so helpful for building the business, building that personality. Again, like that know, like, and trust factor is huge. That's what gets people from I'm interested to I'm buying. And the best way to get there is through building that genuine relationship. And so, if your story is like, hey, I met this person and I had to work really hard, but here's what ended up happening, and this is the result. And it helps highlight your business and shows what you're capable of, but it's focused on this was the problem I solved, then that's a great way to be able to engage and get people to notice you, understand kind of more of like where your heart is and what your brand is for your business. And a lot can be said the same of, if you make a mistake, that you can use that as a story time as well. I
I love that.
have seen so many amazing posts recently of companies just saying, hey, we dropped the ball on this and we're sorry and we would like the opportunity to make it up. And then they're like going viral because people are like, oh my gosh, this is so cool that this business is taking accountability for their actions.
That is incredible. Wow. So it sounds like, going back again, as you're saying all of that, it sounds to me like being genuine and being authentic is really the way to go.
Yeah, so a lot of where these platforms are moving is that they
Mhm.
want that authenticity. And like Google even has kind of fully stated that, hey, we don't want it to just be about the big guys anymore. Like we want the small guys to have an opportunity, and you have to be able to have that relationship with it. So they don't want it to just 24/7 be calls to action and here's
Mhm.
me sales pitch, sales pitch, sales pitch. It's the, hey, I'm part of this community. I love what I do. This is how I help people, building more of that human side of business again. And that's what
Mm.
all of these platforms are kind of going back to, is like what we first started as, is like, hey, I've moved away and I want to connect and have that human relationship, even though we're 1,200 miles apart. And we've kind of crumbled from that. And it's been very like, nope, I'm just posting to post. And now we're
Mm.
like starting to like veer back again and go back to like, hey, like we want that human connection. We want to stay connected. We want to know what people are doing. We want to know the personal side of life as well.
Mhm. And isn't that incredible how even outside of social media, it seems like the whole world is kind of like fashion to, music and everything is just,
Yes. It's
going around.
just like a full circle all the time, like every step of life. I'm convinced.
Right. Me too. Okay, so I know you talked a little bit about call to actions, right? And you also mentioned using it sparingly because people want to really engage with you, right?
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people don't even know that they need to use call to action, and it sounds like it's a waste of posts when you don't do call to action. So, what do you have to say about that?
So it's again kind of one of those sweet spot things of, you want to have a call to action, you want to get people engaged, but you don't necessarily want it to be every single post that you're doing. You want to be able to kind of mix in some of that, like, hey, I'm asking for business, and hey, here's something helpful that I'm just giving you as a, tidbit of knowledge,
Right.
little bit of interest for the viewer, and then you have that call to action later. When we're doing
Mm.
like call to action all day every day, I'm seeing that it's not working like it used to. And there's
Mm.
some things that I Facebook, they have stated that if there's certain call to actions used in posts, that they're kind of already going to throw a little bit of like a blanket over your post and make it harder to reach when it's already hard to reach. Like, so there's certain, these algorithm items that you do need to be aware of, that, like giveaway posts, those usually are very difficult because they don't want them. So again, they're going to kind of put that cap over it and say, hey, we don't want you to do this right now. So it's not going to get as many views.
This episode is brought to you by me. Yes, by me, Victoria Odekomaya. I'm a brand photographer and strategist based locally here in Indiana. And I love helping women, small business owners, and professionals with side hustles build and elevate their brand. So if you're in the market and looking for someone that would thoroughly help you create a beautiful imagery for your brand and help you connect to your target audience, I'm your girl. So why choose me? Because I offer a beautiful, luxurious celebrity photoshoot experience for all of my clients. The celebrity experience includes professional hair and makeup, wardrobe styling. I serve wine and chocolate covered strawberries, and I'm playing your favorite music because it's important to me that you look and feel great to create the images that we know will truly connect with your audience. So, what are you waiting for? If you're looking for photography to help you elevate your brand, call on your girl because I got you. What I'm hearing from you is that we could do call to action, not all the time. One other thing that came to mind is like I think there are some softer. I think I don't know what you call it. Call to actions like it's not buy this now or like click here to whatever that is, but maybe inviting people to you know learn more or get this freebie.
Right.
What do you?
Yeah, so there's definitely different ways of thinking about a call to action. And instead of doing the like super, normal, what you would see if you look up call to actions, that call now, buy now, click now, those types of things, you can think of it in a way of like, hey, have you been thinking of this? Like, because here it is, and just more of that subtle type placement and that subtle questioning that is more of a let's get people thinking. So it's like a call to think and not necessarily like a call to action. Like, let's just like plant the seed right now. And then tomorrow is when we're going to fully water it.
That's good. That's a good one. I like that. Okay, so what do you think about AI
Oh gosh.
generating our post? I know, you know it's coming.
I
You know
know.
that question was coming.
Girl, okay, let me say like I had like my little like existential crisis the other night because I'm like, it's like midnight. I'm wide awake and I'm like, oh my God, like AI, it's inevitable. Like, do I jump on it and get ahead of the game and implement it in my business and make my process faster? But that goes against everything that I believe in and what I've built. And that's not the point of my business. But like, it could fully replace me. And like, I'm telling, like, it's gone so back and forth that I clearly have a little bit of like a love hate going on that there's always going to be these technical changes and updates, and there's things that are just amazing, and it is great. I have finally submitted and I've checked out Chat GPT, and I'll say like it was interesting just to see, okay, this is what I would come up with in a caption and this is what they would come up with, and kind of see where those differences lie. And there's some of that verbiage that I'm like, well, that doesn't match the tone that like my client's looking for. So it would be so obvious that it's not me that's creating that caption. But what's nice about it is if you're trying to think of posts and you're just really in that like brain fog and you're like, what do I do? You can utilize it to say, hey, this is my job. This is what I'm trying to do. Send it in. And then it's suddenly generating this list. You're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Like that didn't even cross my mind yet. So it can be helpful in those situations. I don't I don't feel that I am ready to like be like me and AI are BFF and we're going to work together. Like I'm not at that point yet in my life. I definitely see a benefit. I I think that it is improving enough that it's going to be harder to start seeing what AI is creating versus, an actual human that has years of experience, because it's continually learning and it's learning a million times faster than I can. I think that the biggest place that you're going to continue to see this is clearly AI versus a person is when it comes to those captions and that, again, that authenticity. Because it's
Right.
so hard to sit here and see a post and be like, this is a robot that wrote that. Like I know you, I know how you type, I know how you talk. If I get a text from you and I know what it sounds like, and then I'm seeing your social media and it is polar opposite, like it's not adding up. Like, so in keeping that consistency through your brand, I think that's where there's that struggle with it still.
That's a very interesting point because I think that kind of like what we said earlier, where it will go in full circle back to that authenticity, that connection, building a relationship. Using AI to kind of generate ideas is good, but like you still need to tweak it to sound like you so that you can connect with your clients. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about because I've seen some photos there, headshots too with AI, and I'm like, ooh, like, but I still think I don't think AI can do branding photos yet. Where those, I don't know yet. I haven't really looked into it, but yeah, I guess it's a conversation I have to have with myself at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. And that is, it's definitely a tough time to be in this industry because it
Yeah.
is kind of that, you're seeing a lot of these articles of people saying, hey, is AI going to replace X, Y, and Z industries and jobs? And, so obviously like there's some concern about what's it going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and, the role that AI is going to play in a lot of people's jobs and their roles and their careers and their lives. And so, finding that happy balance of this is a useful tool versus letting it fully replace people. I'm nervous to see where we're headed.
Yes, me too, definitely. All right, I got a couple more questions for you. Video. I know that even as a photographer, photos are good, but the next level, video is king. So, what do you have to say about using video in your post?
Yeah, no, it absolutely nailed that on the head. Video is king. It is a lot. I think the biggest ad that I have is if you're going to do video, be confident, be 100% in it, do a quality video. There's so many times that I see these businesses and I'm like, don't get me wrong, like I love that you're trying, like that's how everyone learns. Like you always have to start from somewhere. I 100% get that. But when you're making a video, I can tell you that you hate making it. I can tell that you're reading a script that you're not interested in, and then you're
Mm,
not even trying to make any edits or adjustments to it. You're just kind of like, it is what it is, and throwing it out. That's
mm,
hard from the consumer side to be like, oh my gosh, like I want to work with this person. Because then
mm,
it's, you want your video to be able to highlight and showcase what you and your business offer.
right.
And so the biggest thing is like, you know, I I know I hate being on video. I hate doing videos. It is
Well,
just,
thank you for coming on today.
oh girl. Don't worry. I still got my sweats on, so we're fine. Like I just, that's not me. Like I'm in my corner, I'm on my computer, I'm behind the screen. That's my life. So like the thought of like, oh, let me just do a video of myself is not it.
Mm,
But like if I decide, hey, I really need to make some videos for me, that's where I'd be like, okay, Victoria, like I need your help because if I'm gonna do a video, I want it to look amazing.
right.
And then I can just utilize that and I can, break it into different areas. I can repost. That is a big thing. People are like afraid to repost. Like if I do something that's great, I'm gonna repost it. Like I think it's okay to ask for help, to have really amazing video content, have something that's eye catching, something that's going to make people stop. And like, this is where like the storytelling is amazing for video as a business. Tell me about a client that came in today and what happened in the situation and fill me in, or tell me that funny story, or tell me how you got started. Like give the more genuine backside of your business. I don't, as a business, need to jump on the latest TikTok trend and be doing a dance or something that has nothing to do with my business and try to be like, but buy from me. Like,
Yeah.
you can, like, have fun. You do you. Like, at the end of the day, whatever makes you happy, do that.
Right, right. So I like that. I really like that a lot. So I started my career in filming, film before started doing photography, and you just gave me an idea now because a lot of people actually really been asking me questions about what do I do on video? How do I hold my camera? So maybe I'm gonna do like a workshop or something, like because it's good to do the produced version of the video to make it look nice and things like that. But there's a lot that our phone can do too,
Oh, yeah.
but you just need to do it well so that you can engage people, you can really attract those people. So you don't want to just, bad lighting or anything. Like there's some basics that you want to really, check off so that you can produce a good video that is engaging.
Oh, yeah. Like the videos that are the behind the scenes, like, hey, this is my work day. Again, it's definitely on a phone, but it's good lighting. It's not splotchy all over the place. I mean, it's a smooth edit. There's transitions in place. They've added the captions. I mean, when you can see that it's been beautifully edited, there's effort that's gone into it. It's so much easier to want to watch a video like that. And especially, it is intriguing. I want to know, okay, what's your process? How do you think? Like, how do you walk people through poses, and like how do you come up with your ideas, like talking about those types of items in a minute long clip is perfect. Like that is an amazing way of just again like building that trust with your clients of this is what you can expect, this is how my day operates, this is how I operate, and it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be way over the top. It's
Right.
just showing that you took the time, you're putting in the effort, and you genuinely care about what content you are putting out there.
That's good. That's really good. So I definitely will be doing more of those videos, but I'm also going to I'll do a workshop to try and help people. So I have one last question about content strategy. But what I've been hearing so far is whatever we choose to do is to think about the person on the other side, right? Like no matter the number of times you choose to post, whatever, platform you're on, really take the time to think about your target audience, the people on the other side, because that would really drive, building and creating the best engaging or, post. So to wrap this up, tell us a little bit about content strategy because I've heard a lot of things about that. Maybe it's one of those things where again it changes, but like I don't think people should just, post just because, but like it sounds like you should have a mix of certain things to kind of have a good balanced, posting strategy that helps create that know, like, and trust.
Mhm. Absolutely. Uh, One of my favorite quotes, and I can't think of who said it, but he said that your content or marketing is kind of like a first date. That if you're only talking about yourself, there's not going to be a second date. And it's
Mm,
a great thing to take with you. It's so important to share, who you are as a business and your values and your brand and, what your offering is, but it shouldn't always be about you. It needs to be about your consumer and, what are their pain points? What is going to get them to pick up the phone and call or to send that text or to place that order? Like what do they need? And focusing on them. Again, this is remove yourself from the driver's seat, be the passenger and think, okay, how do I feel about this? If
mm,
you wouldn't buy from yourself based on your socials, then you need to reevaluate. You know,
yeah.
it's again that very big like balancing act no matter what you do. And you want
Mm,
to make sure that, you know, hey, this is my offering and this is my business, but this is for you and this is how I help you and this is what I do for you. When it's only about you or only about, here's the help that I'm offering, it can be kind of hard to figure out, okay, I can kind of tell what's going on here, but what is the business? Where
mm,
where are they even located? Are they in this area? Do they have a website? When you're having to kind of search for some of that info, that can be equally frustrating as someone who is so me that you're like, okay, but it's my money.
mm,
So finding that balance act, utilizing those analytics to see, okay, people love when I make these points, people love when I share these photos, and then finding the best of both worlds and making it work for your company and your content strategy.
that's really, really good. So, as you were talking, I was thinking You've given us so many great tips and tools and strategy. Well, hopefully, I mean, I think that by the time this video is posted, it's probably changed. Or maybe 6 months down the line. So that's why I think your job is so incredibly important, And so I really appreciate you sharing wholeheartedly today. But how can people that are this is quite clearly overwhelming for them because as a small business owner, there's just too many things on our to-do list, and sometimes it's just easier to pass this on to somebody else that knows what they're doing. So how can we reach you? How can we engage with you? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So Planted Passions Marketing, it's plantedpassions.com is my website. That's easy. Everything's linked through there. I do have my socials, Planted Passions. Would love to connect on LinkedIn. Kaitlyn Cotter. I will, like, full disclosure, and I know this is gonna like sound awful, foot and mouth, but if you get on my socials, you'll see that there's like hardly anything on there. Um, it's kind of one of those, like, the mechanic that has like the worst car in the lot situation that I spend all day. I'm focused on my clients. I'm building out their brands. I'm on their social, and so by the time that it's the end of the day, and that sometimes is like 10 o'clock at night for me, I'm like, I'm not getting on my personal. I'm not doing for me. So I love being able to share what I do for my clients. So if you are interested or you want to see some of my work, just let me know. Again, that plantedpassions.com. You can send me a text, shoot me an email, fill out my online form, and I will gladly send over links for my client accounts that I manage so you can see what's going on there. But also, if anyone ever has questions that, hey, I'm having issues with this, because let's be real, social media can sometimes be awful, and none of them have support for you to be able to say, hey, I'm getting an error when. So if
Mm.
you have something like that, you can always send that my way, info@plantedpassions.com. I love small businesses. I love helping businesses grow. That's why I started my business. So if there's something that you're like, I don't need full help right now, I just need help with this situation, just send me an email. Like, I will gladly look into it. Chances are you're having a struggle that I've already helped 3 other people with. So just let me know. Love being able to make social media easier for small businesses.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I know that that's one of the things, your heart is also a reason why I wanted to work with you, partner with you for my branding clients too, because like I was saying earlier on, I want them to be able to use the images. Because I've had situations where we took the photos and it's just like, you're like, where is the photos again? So I want to be able to, and I know one of the things that you've done was develop like the social media calendar too, that I offer to them. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you. I'll make sure all of the comments and all the links to your websites and LinkedIn and all of that social media are all in the description so that people can reach out to you and take advantage of those resources. But it's been a wonderful, wonderful time talking to you today.
Well, thank you so much. I always enjoy talking with you.
Oh, me too. Me too. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.